Hey, this is Kurt. It's December 26th, 2022, and I am back to adding content to the Mañana No Mas YouTube channel and to Anchor FM, which broadcasts to the Mañana No Mas podcast on Spotify and all the other podcast channels. And folks, some interesting things have happened over the last few months. And as I prepare my calendar and begin to schedule more quality guests to guest on the Mañana No Mas podcast, I do want to put out a special message of, happy holidays and thank you. You're sitting there and you're saying, thank you. What's he thanking me for? Well, I'm not going to say backburnered. That's a bad way to say it, but I'd focused on some other business things and some partner relationships that I'm going through with Mañana No Mas. And, making the podcast wasn't a primary function in leaning that way and finding successes on those channels. So the end of the year rolls around and I get the message, how was your 2022? Check out our cool video. And Anchor FM sends me mine. And something interesting happened in 2022. I made less content on the podcast channel than I had in 3 years, but the channel grew 33%. So I'm looking at my other social media. I'm looking at my Twitter. I'm looking at my Facebook. I'm looking at my TikTok. I'm looking at my Instagram, and I'm looking at my podcast. Folks, if the podcast is going to go up 33% during a year that I failed to make equitable content, well, that tells me that there's an audience. That tells me that what we were discussing in the Mañana No Mas podcast had relevance, had a maybe it's the method of delivery, maybe it's the just being blunt when I think it's time to be blunt. But I will tell you this, and committing this going into 2023, I am looking at a lot of wholesale changes in the way that I take care of things on the Mañana No Mas front. For one, I think it's really fair that I let you know that Mañana No Mas to me is kind of a passion name. It's a thing that allows me to be the person it allows me to embrace an attitude about entrepreneurship and about business that I really love. However, solely using the name Mañana No Mas has been a little bit of a speed bump. For instance, one of my passions in working in WordPress is learning management systems and membership sites. And so what about the Mañana No Mas name would make a corporation or an organization go, man, I got to call Kurt about getting my learning management site done. Hey, I got to get in touch with Kurt because I have a couple of online courses I want to promote. There's nothing about the name Mañana No Mas that says that. And so you'll notice that some of the branding that I have coming out now says WP e-learning. WP e-learning is also a tag of mine on Twitter. So if you follow WP e-learning, you are in turn following me. The other thing was Mañana No Mas. It, to me, spells leadership. It means tomorrow no more. You can't put off till tomorrow what you can possibly do today. You can't keep missing deadlines. You can't keep going over budget, and you can't keep crawling to people with your tail between your legs because you failed to make a decision and take action. Folks, that attitude, that desire for action is what led me to write Action Leadership from the Edge that was published in August 2022. So the book, Action Leadership from the Edge, is actually available on a website called the actionleadershipteam.com. So actionleadershipteam.com is where you can get the copy of my latest book, Action Leadership from the Edge. And, I said I was scheduling people for the podcast. Some of the people that will be on the podcast will also be featured in a sequel to that book. And so Action Leadership from the Edge is a book that is meant to encourage people to take that first step of leadership, to realize that leadership, just as John Maxwell says, is Well, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, right? That's the way John says it. And so, in agreement with that, I also had to ask what creates the influence? So, if somebody is stagnant or spouting out a bunch of words, is that something that creates influence? If someone wants to be a leader, wouldn't it make sense that there would be an activity or an action that would gain the influence that allowed them to lead? John Maxwell also said, if you think you're a leader and you look around and nobody's following you, you're not a leader, you're just out for a walk. I always thought that was pretty funny when he would say that. It's to me, it's action is the cantilever. Action is the piece that gives motion, that gives leverage, that applies torque to the influence that enables us to grow a community and make a difference. And so you'll see things from the Action Leadership page and again, I have another tag on Twitter about that. The other side of things is, besides Mañana No Mas being a tech and leadership agency, besides the training and the websites and the things that I do, I also work directly with a WordPress managed host company, and I also work directly with a WordPress learning management plugin. That one is called Lifter LMS. And so since I work directly with those two companies, it's put me in a unique position as an agency owner to also lend help, advice, and tools, quite honestly, to other agencies. And so it puts me in this really unique position where I'm able to offer assistance to other agencies and help them find success with e-learning, especially within a managed WordPress host environment. So super, super stoked about that. So you're saying here, what does all this mean, Kurt? Why are you making this? Why are you going on YouTube with this? Why are you recording this? Why are you putting this out on all these channels? Why is this the next podcast episode on Mañana No Mas, the podcast? Folks, it's time. It's time to take action. It's time to move forward. It's time to look at the community that, quite honestly, I've been able to build through Lifter LMS, WP Tonic, WP eLearning, Action Leadership from the Edge, all the work in the Power Sports Academy. There are hundreds and thousands of people that are in different circles that are all connected on like this giant Venn diagram that all focuses in with the hub is Mañana No Mas. And when I saw that the podcast had gone up 33% in a year that content was not fully delivered, I thought to myself, there's an opportunity here. There is a reason to get back on. There is a reason to do the things that I do. Now, I was just listening to Emily Hunkler. Emily Hunkler is part of GoWP. GoWP is another WordPress related organization. They have contractors that they put in for different things, content development, things like that. And I was listening to their podcast while out mountain biking today. And that's another story unto itself. But here I am. It's been over 2.5 months since I've been on a mountain bike, and I'm out there trying to get my workout on. And I got my, bone conduction headphones in because they're safer, right? So I'm listening to the podcast. I'm aware of my surroundings, and I binge listened to 3 episodes of the GoWP podcast for digital agencies. And then I wonder, why did I stop making the Mañana No Mas podcast? That's exactly what I want people to do. I want people to be able to go out, pardon me, I had a sneeze. I want people to be able to go out and do the things that they do, drive, bicycle, go running, and be able to put these words in their head while they're doing that. And so to me, podcasting is that extra channel. It's that thing you can do in addition to, right? So there's normal social media, there's the swiping on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. There's where it seems to take more attention away from things that can get done. But if you look at podcasting, uh, someone can listen to the podcast while doing other content, right? While doing other things. And so I think that's part of the reason that you're seeing such a big growth in podcasting. Now, I've already got thousands of listeners here on the podcast, so I don't want to start over and have the WPE Learning podcast or the Power Sport Academy podcast. And I thought about it. I really did. I thought about rebranding these different channels. But the reality is that people know the name Mañana No Mas and people follow the name Mañana No Mas. And so I want to keep that going. And folks, as I do that, please also recognize that while Mañana No Mas is a brand, while Mañana No Mas is a name, my name is Kurt Von Annen. And, I've recently just put out a website, kurtvonannen.com. And that was to remember that, I'm the human being behind the work. I'll have a directory of projects added there shortly, but that site by itself is meant to encourage people to hire me as a public speaker, to look at podcast episodes, and realistically just to keep things simple, but still keep the idea that there is a human being behind these things at Mañana No Mas, WPE Learning, and all those things, Power Sports Academy. Folks, I don't know what 2023 is really going to bring for us, but I will tell you this. I went live almost every day for 2.5 years and encouraged people to find the opportunity within the obstacle. I went live every day for almost 2.5 years saying, find the silver lining on every cloud, right? Look for the opportunity within the obstacle. Now, I haven't had a real job in over 3 years going on 3 years, and all the bills are paid. I'm living in Southern California, one of the most expensive places in the world to be. And here I am, and the bills are paid, and I haven't had a real job in forever. And that's a testament to what is possible when you focus on opportunities within the obstacles. 2023 is going to bring, according to the experts, more heartache, trial, and tribulation to more people than we've seen in a long, long time. And it's going to be people that were resilient, that were consistent, that worked when there was no work. It's going to be the people that put in the effort that are going to look at this moment in time as an opportunity. And I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't already had that mindset, if you haven't already had that get up and go, I'm going to try to encourage you to do so. And let me just be a little more bold here with a call to action. If that's not currently you, if you're the kind of person that takes the layoff and then sits at home for a year looking for a job, if you're the kind of person that, suffers a medical emergency or, God forbid, a adverse reaction to a shot, and then you just sit there and feel sorry for yourself and wonder, well, what can I do next? And the world's out to get me. You got to figure something out. And you got to get back to the roots of why I wrote that book, Action Leadership from the Edge. And you got to be willing to take action and move forward. Now, sometimes you need help to do that. And that's kind of where my specialties come in. I like to help people get motivated to get them going. Man, I just love it. It just fills me up on the inside. So a lot of what we're going to talk about in this coming year is going to be finding opportunities within the obstacles and overcoming things. Folks, I keep seeing all these posts on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn almost every day. And then all these posts, I lost my job, please this, please that, please the other. I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, I'm looking for the other. And I want to encourage these people. And sometimes I post right up on their post, now more than ever is the time that you should get your knowledge down in an outline, make yourself a course, and sell yourself as a consultant, a trainer, anything. You need to find a way to leverage the knowledge you already have to create revenue out of thin air, because The corporate world is not there to save us. So if you got the opportunity and you like corporate and you can work in corporate, that's great. I'm not holding anything against you. But if you're like me and you step out of corporate and you try to get back into corporate and you realize those doors ain't always open, you have to be able to leverage your existing skills, your existing knowledge base, and find a way to make yourself a sellable product, something that is sustainable. I love the idea of an online course. I can help you develop an online course. If you're not comfortable with writing curriculum, I have written curriculum for multiple huge companies. I can help you with curriculum development. I can help you with copy. I've got graphic designers. I've got hosting. I obviously have the tools to build you the WordPress site of your dreams and get you something that'll help you drive some kind of revenue through your existing knowledge base. Folks, the guy that runs Lifter LMS, Chris Badgett, super nice guy. He says, one of his beliefs is that everybody's got a course within them. Everybody's got a course hiding out inside of them. And, I look at part of my passion, part of my drive is just to help people find that. I'm going to be a little more blunt. If you still have a job, now is the time while you still have paychecks coming in, while you still have revenue, while you still have the opportunity, build yourself a little something on the side. Brand your name, brand your site, get some content up, because when the layoffs come, you want to be prepared. Turn that switch, all right? And add value to other people as quickly as you possibly can. The more that you can add value to people, the more you're going to find an opportunity for success. Now imagine this. I put out over 400, maybe 450 at this point, 400 job applications since 2020. I still don't have a job. Okay. I refused the vaccine. I couldn't travel internationally. We could go down this long list of reasons why I didn't get the job. Right. In some markets, I'm the wrong color. In some markets, I'm the wrong sex. In some markets, I'm too old. In some markets, I get all that too. Okay. I get all that. And I'm not upset. I'm not angry. Here's what I am. I'm being very, very real with you. Sooner or later, you're going to need to rely on the information that's already in your head. And I'm the kind of guy that can help you make that a reality before it's a necessity. Folks, I'm going to end this podcast on that, because I want to end on, you can find opportunities within the obstacles and not go down some negative, rabbit hole there. But here's the deal. Join me on the Mañana No Mas podcast. If you're not already subscribed, just go to Spotify, type in Mañana No Mas. I'll come up. It's a picture of a bicycle. I love the bicycle. So it's a picture of a bicycle, and go ahead and follow that, right? Share it with a friend, put it in an email. Go to the mañananomas.com website, sign up on our mail list, take a look at some of my recent posts. Make sure that you don't miss the information that's coming to you. If you're interested in building online courses, by all means, go and check out wp-e-learning.com, wp-elearning.com. Go check that out. But folks, there's plenty of options. And as we jump into 2023, I want to make sure you have as many options available to you as possible. The longer we go, the fewer the options may be. So I just wanted to put that out there for you and let you know that I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you. And man, if you could follow me on the podcast and through the site, well, that would just be the icing on the cake. Have yourself a wonderful holiday week, and I will see and hear from you in 2023. Feel free to jump in on the comments, hit the comments on YouTube, hit the comments on the website, hit the comments on the podcast on Anchor FM. That'd be fantastic. Talk to you soon. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.